It's impossible to think of a blockbuster action hero without thinking of the man who broke the mold, Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Austrian oak and former Mr. Universe took movie audiences by storm with his bulging muscles, hypnotic accent, and cool bravado. So let's remember how much Arnie changed the landscape of blockbusters by counting down the top 10 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies of all time.
I ate green berets for breakfast. And right now I'm very hungry.
I can't believe this macho bullshit.
Number 10. The Last Stand. By the end of his career, Arnie had started to lighten up, but one romp that stands out is this one. In it, Arnie plays a small-town sheriff chasing down an escaped Mexican cartel boss, and with badass junkies all around him, you just know it's going to be ugly. This was Arnold's first role since Terminator 3 warped 10 years earlier, but locals didn't have to wait for its release to see him. He was caught in Walmart buying clothes for the freezing film crew in preparation for the night shoots in the desert.
Look, I don't know you, and I don't answer to you.
In the end, the film's box office was lackluster, but it turned a tidy profit when it released on DVD and Blu-ray. It just goes to show that one way or another, audiences will pay money to hear Arnie's one-liners. One line that stands out is when Sheriff Ray Owens tells Gabriel Cortez exactly what he thinks of him. Let's just say it's not Arnie's most family-friendly quote, but it's still a zinger.
Welcome to Summerton.
Number 9. Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines.
I'm back.
Hands down, Arnie's most iconic role is of the time-traveling, human-hunting robot, and in this third installment, he returns to protect John Connor from a new kind of assassin Terminator. You'd better not mess around with this Terminator chick. But this movie almost didn't happen because Schwarzenegger said he'd only return if James Cameron was back in the directing chair. It was only when his longtime friend and collaborator told him to just take the money and run that Arnie finally donned the signature leather jacket once more. All it took was $29.5 million, a record at the time. So now, Arnie was forced to hit the gym for 3 hours a day for 6 months just to get in shape and get the exact body weight and muscle measurements from the previous Terminator film.
I'll drive.
Number 8. The Running Man.
You cold-blooded bastard. Hope you leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine! Ah!
This cult hit had the action hero play Ben Richards, a cop in a dystopian future who is falsely convicted but gets a shot at freedom when he is forced to participate in a murderous TV show. On screen, Arnie and Richard Dawson, who played the villainous game show host, were sworn-off enemies, but off-screen they became lifelong friends. If you look closely, you can see Arnold wearing a World's Gym sweatshirt in the scene after he escapes the prison. World's Gym was owned by him at the time, so he took the chance to get some free advertising. He even used the name for his film for his political campaign when he was driving around in a bus trying to become governor of California.
It's showtime.
Number 7. Commando. John Matrix is a retired Special Forces colonel on a mission to save his own daughter when she is kidnapped by his former subordinate. But that's as much plot as you're getting in this flick, which saw Arnie firing bazookas left, right, and center. Though audiences fondly remember the over-the-top action, Schwarzenegger showed off his tender side off-screen. He helped Alyssa Milano, who played his daughter, with her algebra homework and was very protective of her throughout the shoot. But he wasn't able to protect himself. They couldn't find a body double as big as him, so Arnie had to do his own stunts. In the end, this dedication to the craft cost him a dislocated shoulder and several stitches. No pain, no gain.
Don't break radio silence until they see me.
How will I know?
Because all fucking hell is gonna break loose.
Number 6. Conan the Barbarian.
Good. That's all you'll ever need.
In this adaptation of the much-loved pulp novel series, Arnold puts on the loincloth to become Conan, a slave-turned-fighter who seeks revenge for his parents' death. It was a milestone for Arnie, not just for his career as the film was a box office smash, but because he said Max von Sydow was the first incredible dramatic actor he had ever worked with.
For us, there is no spring. Just the wind that smells fresh.
And it also allowed him to show off what he was capable of physically because, when a suitable body double could not be found, the Austrian was asked to perform his own stunts. That said, for as much hard work as he put in here doing things such as horseback riding and climbing lessons, it wouldn't save him from injury. No, in one scene, while being chased by a group of dogs, Arnie would actually fall down a rock he was climbing up so as to escape them, and in doing so, he'd hurt his back, leading to him having to recover while he was still shooting. Number 5. True Lies.
Sure. Here's my invitation.
When Schwarzenegger and Cameron teamed up this time round, it was for the story of globetrotting secret agent Harry Tasker, whose wife's extramarital affair causes problems at home right when terrorists are smuggling nuclear warheads into America. Despite the gung-ho action sequences, Arnie's biggest challenge was learning to dance the tango. Even with dance lessons, he rehearsed the scene for 6 months because he wanted to be as good as Al Pacino was in Scent of a Woman. But some things couldn't be planned for. A horse riding scene went wrong, and Arnold had a near-fatal accident when his Bronco got startled and bolted. Though he managed to slide off the horse, he almost fell off a 30-foot drop-off. Thankfully, his personal stuntman was able to pull him to safety before he went tumbling over the edge. Who would have thought that Arnie was an action man in real life? Number 4. Total Recall.
Pal, you got yourself mixed up with somebody.
As Douglas Quaid, Arnold starred in this adaptation of a Philip K. Dick novel that sees a construction worker receive implanted memories of a fantastical adventure on Mars, only to suspect that real-life agents are trying to stop him from uncovering real memories. In fact, the plot was why Arnie signed up. He liked the idea of virtual travel and has said that his favorite scene is when the salesman sells him a trip he never took. He was also impressed with how seriously Sharon Stone took her training. He even dubbed her the female Terminator and had her inducted into the Stuntwoman Association as an honorary member. But not everyone shared Arnie's enthusiasm for health and well-being. Following illness due to drinking tap water in Mexico before, Arnie had his food catered in the US. The rest of the crew, including the director, mocked him but stopped laughing when they all got food poisoning. Number 3. Predator.
Bad idea.
Easily one of the biggest fan-favorite films. In this stellar action flick, Arnold plays a commando leading his team on a mission in the Central American jungle, only for them to be picked off one by an extraterrestrial warrior. But in the end, it was the jungle that was more dangerous. Cast and crew had to fend off leeches, snakes, stifling humidity, heat, and rough terrain. But Arnie got the worst of it for those one-on-one fight scenes against the Predator. They were shot at night when the jungle turned freezing. Worse, the clay his character uses to blend into nature became cold and wet and lowered his body temperature. To stop him from shivering, they put him under lamps, but this just made the clay harden. Lastly, they tried warming drinks, including schnapps, but this just got him drunk. Still, Arnie had some fond memories. His character's line, "Get to the chopper," is the man's personal favorite catchphrase. As for the one-liner when Dutch impales a bad guy with his machete, Arnie improvised the quip, "Stick around."
Its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Number 2. The Terminator.
I'll be back.
When it comes to memorable dialogue, can anything compete with "I'll be back"? Audiences first heard the phrase in Arnold's breakout role as a robotic assassin sent back in time to kill the leader of the human resistance. It marks one of the few times Arnold ever played a bad guy, and to prepare for the role, the budding actor worked with guns every day for a month. After his training, he was able to assemble and reassemble a weapon blindfolded, just like a machine would. Even the Soldier of Fortune magazine ran an op-ed praising his handling of weapons. That said, his physical work would mark the lion's share of his performance here as, over the course of the movie, he only speaks 14 lines of dialogue. But hey, he didn't need to say much in order to make himself feared, just like with his role in Conan the Barbarian previously. Our number 1 pick is Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Go.
This successful sequel saw Arnie return as the killer robot, but this time he is sent back in time as the savior of John Connor, reprogrammed to fend off the advanced and deadly shapeshifting T-1000. For returning for the follow-up, Arnie was gifted a slightly used Gulfstream III private jet. Not a bad welcome back to work gift. Let's hope he appreciated it, because the film took a toll on his body. He couldn't wear gloves while cocking the guns and tore the skin off his hand. One time, his fumbling with the metal weapon almost knocked out co-star Edward Furlong. You're supposed to save John Connor, not kill him.
Hasta la vista, baby. Chill out. Dickwad.
Another accident was when a woman passing by mistook the biker bar scene set for a real one, despite all the trucks and equipment parked outside. Upon seeing Arnie standing there in his boxers, she asked what was going on, to which he replied it was a male stripper night. So let's have a look at the film's ratings. We find that Terminator 2 received a fantastic 8.6 out of 10 from voters on IMDb.com and a pretty good 75 from Metacritic. And yes, Metacritic is stating bullshit, as we all know this film deserves a lot better. As for Rotten Tomatoes, they've given it 93% on the tomato meter, with an even more impressive 95% given by the audience. And there we have it, the top 10 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies of all time. If you think we forgot to mention one, let us know in the comments below. If you'd like us to do more countdowns, then leave a like and don't forget to share this with any Schwarzenegger fan you know. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel and get alerted of our next video.